I got to 3rd in the world in FPL with no strategy. With this strategy here though, I may even reach 1st in the world. It will help you maximize gains, minimize risks, and make FPL fun again. Introducing my new FPL strategy, E.F.F.G, E.F.F.G, which is an abbreviation for these categories: Essential, Form, Fixtures, and Gameweek Punt. The Essential category is for players that can get points no matter the fixture. They are simply the best players in the game that you must have. It could contain a Haaland, a Saka, a Salah, a Foden, or even the value picks like an Nkunku and Konsa. The idea for this is to plan to never sell those players and shouldn't be the players who you are using and wasting your transfers on. This not only forces you to keep the best players, but also forces you to use your transfers on the rest of your squad to make the most out of them. The form section are players that are currently getting points. They're in their purple patch and you don't want to miss out. They are the here and now. Their ownership is going up and up, and it doesn't look like it's stopping anytime soon. You should look to use transfers to get these in, but you also can't be afraid to get them out when their form stops. The fixtures section are players that you predict will be getting more points soon, as they have great upcoming fixtures or a good fixture run. They are the future of points and the players you use to try and get ahead of the curve. Ideally, these players could have the fixtures to turn into form players, and then if a player has fixtures and form, then they're nearing essential. Having these fixture players also gives us a plan of when to keep or sell these players, as you're getting them in for specific fixtures so you know when that fixture run will stop. Then the game week punt, and this is where the fun happens, where this could contain the spiciest differentials that could do very well for just 1 or 2 game weeks. Usually you would avoid these types of players, but with this strategy you don't. As if you decide half of your team is essential and they are untouchable for your transfers, you're not touching them, then all of a sudden you have scope to make transfers that could last just 1 or 2 weeks with a few cheeky punts. As if you give yourself a lot less options to transfer out, but that also means you have a more specific focus on your transfers. Most of your teams stay in there. You can only potentially transfer out half of them. Then that could potentially give you more options to potentially make some cheeky punts every single week. How amazing does that sound? That sounds spanktastic sexy if you ask me. Your essential players stay in your team. Your form players stay until they are no longer in form. Your fixtures players stay until they have good fixtures. And your punts are there for the taken when there are no form or fixture transfers to make and allow you to make some spicy differentials which you wouldn't normally get to make. But now you can, bringing back the fun to FPL. The main idea with this strategy is to put players/teams in each of these sections, which will allow you to maximize planning your squad and also ensure you are making the absolute most out of your transfers. You can use this as a guide, you can use this as a transfer planner, you can use it as a strategy to win FPL. A player may start in fixtures, move up to form, may move up to essential. A player may start in essential and then you want to sell him 5 weeks later. This is more of a guideline to help you rather than a strict plan, but if you use it, boy oh boy, it can work. So for example, if I were to say, my essential players that I want in my team for game week 1, I want an Arsenal defender, an Arsenal attacker, a Man City defender, a Man City attacker, a Villa attacker, and a Newcastle attacker, and I don't want to sell them at all. They're here. The teams that I would put in the form are the likes of Crystal Palace, Man City and Arsenal, the teams that are just doing very well right now. The teams I would put in the fixtures are teams that have the good fixtures, that are likely going to win their games and potentially create some form for some good options in their teams. And game week punts, I would completely avoid for game week 1 as it's too risky to have risks it straight away, but later on down the season when your team's a little bit more calmed down and it's not hectic every week, you could have a player such as like a Son versus a Leicester, a Gakpo versus Ipswich, a Bruno G versus Southampton, some cheeky differential punts that you may want for just 1 week, but could very well be worth it for that 1 week, for that big boy upside and also fun. So with my FG matrix and my strategy right here with this, a team could look like this. So my essential players are Raya and Gvardiol, Saka, Foden, Watkins and Isak. Players that won't be leaving my squad no matter what. They're in jail. Staying there forever. Unless there's injury suspensions. They do terribly after like 6 weeks. But you know, the idea is, the plan is that they're essential and they're staying. I've then filled the rest of my squad with form picks, including Munoz, Eze and Havertz, and fixture picks in Trent and Gordon. My essential players are untouchable. So if Arsenal, Man City have a wibbly-wobbly moment, they have a couple of bad fixtures, doesn't matter. I stick with the players I have from them because they're the best players. No matter what, no matter who they're playing, they could go on and score all the goals and score the points. And come the end of the season, they will probably have also scored the most points out of anybody. So in my opinion, why waste your transfers on those types of players? Where yes, you can optimize them and, get one of them out for a better player, for a better fixture just for that 1 week. And yes, you could get a game from that, but sometimes, and actually more than often than not, you actually make more of a loss by doing those types of transfers, where you could actually be using those transfers on the rest of your squad, where the rest of the upside is a lot bigger on other players. So with this strategy, those transfers would be on your form players if they stop being in form, your fixture players if their fixtures turn, and you spend the transfers there instead. If the form and fixtures are completely fine and you don't have any immediate transfers planned, like your form players look like they're going to continue, your fixture guys have quite a few good fixtures, then all of a sudden you have all of the transfers to take some punts. For this team, you could get in the likes of a Brennan Johnson, a Garnacho for a Gordon. You could do Havertz out for like a Højlund or a Jackson. Now, those kind of transfers don't sound great, right? Because those are the types of players you don't really want to keep long term, but that's the point. You could get them in for just 1 week of fixtures to try and optimize your squad for a bit more fun, for a bit more upside. But it doesn't matter because it's the players that you're willing to get rid of, and it's not the players that are the best players in the game. So personally, I plan on using this FG to build my Game Week 1 team and help guide the structure of my squad, but be more of a suggestion rather than a strict plan at first, as we need to be very flexible at the start of the season, as you never know what's going to happen. Every player's a risk. Haaland, he could just forget how to play football and never score again. It could happen. So I would have a mixture of essential players I plan on keeping long term, but they aren't truly essential until they prove it for me for Game Week 1. Then we have the form players and fixture players, and those could very easily turn as we learn more and more about the players and teams. But that is why I'm not choosing any punts for just the first week, and then as our squad and our FG matrix starts to get a bit more balanced, a bit more relaxed, and we kind of know what players we want to keep long term and all that, then we can start taking the punts and making the most out of that. You may personally want to do something like this, but completely different. You may think that no player is essential and you never want to keep them no matter what. That's fine, you can do that. You may prefer to follow the data more and try and predict the fixtures a lot more than the form players and choose loads more of those instead. That's fine. You may prefer to follow the eye test more and pick up the form players instead. You can do that too. You can have any combination of all of these, and you don't have to pick players in each section. You don't even need a balance in each of these categories. But the main idea is just to be a bit more conscious of what categories your players are in. So then you know and have a plan of how long you may hold them for, which can not only help you decide what players you want to keep, but mainly help you decide what players you can get in and hopefully get in those sexy differentials to make FPL fun again. Even if you're a casual, you can use something like this. You could even just update your matrix like every month just as a check-in. You don't have to keep doing it every week. But me personally, I plan on using this strategy for my own team this season, and I will also be using this FG strategy for my very own transfer plan videos that I will be releasing every week. Even if you aren't following the strategy or you're doing it a different way than me, my matrix and my strategy will still be useful for you, as form, fixtures and punts are still relevant to everybody, no matter how you play FPL, because at the end of the day, you're just picking players that want to score points. Whether you think it's because of a certain reason or not, it doesn't actually matter. But us FPL nerds like to plan, and something like this is what I've come up with to help optimize my plan, optimize my fun, have a potential upside to win FPL, and just all of the above. Sounds amazing. So let me know what you think of this strategy. Do you plan on following? Do you plan on doing it yourself? Maybe if you're not too sure, you're a bit lost, you're a bit discombobulated, just take it easy, see what I do with my transfer plan and my team selection and all that on this plan, and then when you see how it works out, then maybe, with a wildcard or later on down the season, you can start doing it yourself, and that's that. If anybody else out there wants me to help make a version for yourself as well, I'm fine and happy to do that, so let me know in the comments and I will try and help you out with that. Thanks for watching, and also, remember...
Don't be a cheeky scrub. Subscribe to Nathan Bacon right now. Don't let your memes be dreams.